Welcome back. We will continue our analysis and preparation for the individual oral for both the literature and language literature class. This video will focus on the start of choosing effective quotes, and the beginning of that is creating a focus for the oral by stating the author's intention in regards to the global issue. You need to have an argument or a thesis about the intention or the effect on audience with regards to the global issue. And after you have that, you need to find evidence, quotes, details to support that intention and convey perspective, audience understanding, and again, it all relates back to the global issue. This video will reference a planner that I created and my students use. I actually have two versions of it. It will be focused on much more in depth in a later video. The advantage of this planner is it's really designed specifically for the task, so it consistently pushes you back to the global issue and analysis of the global issue. We'll talk about it more later. And also there is a handout for flipped classroom if you're a teacher and you want to have your students study this video at home, or if you're a student and you want to use this to follow along. So you can find a link to my blog here in the video description, and there you will find the planner type 1, the planner type 2, the poem being analyzed, the handout with the questions, and these are all free and there to help you do your best on this task. The literary text that the student is recording is called Beaumont to Detroit. It's a poem by Langston Hughes, and I recommend you reading it before we continue with the analysis. Here's the poem right here if you want to pause and just read it right on the screen, or you can find a link to it in the video description or on my blog.
First piece of work that I will be talking about is a poem called Beaumont to Detroit, which was 1943, which was written by an African-American poet named Langston Hughes. And he wrote this poem during civil distress and racial segregation in America. And his intention was to provide a voice to the African-American population and encourage them to fight for a change for equal rights.
So following on the last video, when you're studying a work in your language and literature class or in your literature class, you need to be thinking about how it revolves around global issues. And clearly Langston Hughes's poetry deals with issues of race and equality and inequality. Mostly for this student's analysis, she's going to be talking about injustice, equality, and inequality. So it fits nicely under this one, but you don't have to say the exact phrasing power, politics, and justice, which she doesn't, as long as the issue is wide scale, transnational, and felt in everyday local contexts, which in this case it clearly is. So this is her planner, and you can see that she has talked about Langston Hughes' poetry, and she's going to say that he will provide a voice for African Americans and encourage them to fight for equal rights.
And his intention was to provide a voice to the African-American population and encourage them to fight for a change for equal rights.
This now gives her a focus for the rest of her oral analysis to find quotes from the body of work and this poem that show these specific points about the global issue. For her non-literary text, she will analyze Nelson Mandela. We will go over that at a later video, but for now we will just focus on the literary so that this works for both literature and the Lang and Lit course. If this was the literature course, she would have to choose a work in translation instead of a non-literary text. So just a quick disclaimer, this is not the actual oral sent to IB. This is a practice one that she did with different extracts. I have her permission to use this. You can practice on your own for the actual oral, but you cannot practice with the actual extracts with the teacher. And I highly, highly recommend recording yourself and practicing when you're ready to see how you're managing your time and organizing your own analysis. You can listen back to your tapes and improve your performance. In the next video, we will have this same student continue, and she will show us the quote she selected to support her points about the global issue, and she will then analyze those quotes, showing us exactly what needs to be done to score highly on the individual oral.